Jorge here.
So that was what, like 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
I think when me and Luis are together, something sus is about.
Bro,
It's
always
bound.
sus.
It's bound to come out.
I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything wrong with being a little sus.
I don't either, but like, there's a lot.
There's nothing wrong.
There's
Yeah.
just.
I think I encourage it.
I actually think it's kind of funny.
I think that's my job too.
With like certain Hispanic guys that are like kind of like classic,
Oh,
like
bro, there's
retro,
so
you know?
machismo and like super.
like a single
homophobe.
gay joke will just like
Yeah.
set them the fuck off.
Dude, for sure. It's not even that bad. It's like some guy smacks your ass. I think it's because I got exposed to it at such a young age, of like older guys always fucking with me that I'm like, oh, it's just fine. Like,
Older guys would always do that
Yeah,
with you.
because I was like a sophomore on the varsity team. Which wait, put that down.
Like
bro.
I'm
This
not
is
like
niño
I'm
chiquito.
like
Are
I'm
we
not
already
gay, but I
started?
could be.
What?
Huh?
Hello, beautiful people.
Welcome to Bro Taste This.
When we break down wine, we talk about Luis's digestive issues and Juan's political issues. And I'm a great listener.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Bro Taste This, where we break down wine, food, news, and our childhood trauma. I am George, and joining me is Luis Pablo and Juan B. This week we'll be talking about the labor strike and the upheaval
Yup,
in
go ahead.
Kellogg's.
Man, your English has gotten really good.
What's the worst thing you can find in Paw Patrol backpack? And then we'll go into what it's like being an older brother.
Beautiful.
That
Thank
was
you for joining us
terrible.
on episode 6 of Bro Taste This.
Upheaval.
That's a tough word to say.
It
Yeah,
threw
it's
me
like
off.
a 7th grade word.
Yeah,
It threw me for a turn there.
Yeah, man, that's one of the. Did you guys ever do well in spelling bees?
No,
No,
I was pretty good at that.
that's like
stuff.
that's not my subject there.
no spelling.
No, I'm a science math type of guy.
Yeah, stuff that doesn't really require like English or
Right. Stuff.
speaking in general.
Yeah, stuff that just requires
You just need
memorization.
brains. Yeah, memorization. Juan, you did well in spelling bees.
Yeah, I did pretty good at spelling, reading, and geography. Like,
Do you
knowing-
read now?
I mean, yeah, still, yeah.
Like, do you read a book?
Yeah, I have my room and my dresser is full with like 10 books.
Are they like real books or are they like
Nah, man, they're
young adult novels? Like you got.
Are they-
The
it's like
Sorcerer's
Twilight
Stone,
and
yeah,
Harry Potter, you know,
right,
shit
The
like that.
Outsiders,
Those are real books.
Fahrenheit 451,
Yeah, you know, real
Uh,
Kafka, shit like that. Yeah,
Mein Kampf,
The
Think and
Bible.
Grow Rich.
I'll send you a picture of my stuff.
Yeah, please do. We'll post
I
it
gotcha.
in the description down below. Welcome, boys. How are you guys feeling today?
I'm great. Feel
Great,
great.
beautiful. I love to hear that.
Are you well?
I feel great. I had a good week.
That's
It's
great.
fall.
It's great. It is fall. Fall is upon us. We didn't have Jay Mother effing May last week, but he's here, and he took some time off. He had to get his butt removed because it was too large. So we're glad that he made a quick recovery. But welcome back, man.
No, thank you. Appreciate
How was
it.
the process?
How was the recovery?
It was tough. It was tough. Not gonna lie.
Yeah? How did
Does
it
it hurt
go?
to sit down?
Yeah.
No, actually a lot more comfortable. You know
Yeah,
what I
because
mean?
you got less ass. To,
Right.
To
It
sit
was
on.
right. Exactly.
That's good, man. You were looking a little sus there for a minute, dragging that wagon back there, but we're glad that you're back and you're healthy, and that can actually bring us to our wine of the week. Boys, this week we got Campo Viejo Red Blend. Have you guys heard of Campo Viejo before?
Never.
I've seen the label before at the wine stores whenever you go shopping, but I've never actually picked up that bottle and tried it out.
It's pretty.
Okay. It is very pretty. So
Pretty.
this is the Red Blend. This is a 2019. The blend is composed of let's see.
Where is it from, Luis?
This is a Spanish wine.
I hope so.
Oh, there we go. It's got 66% Tempranillo, 17% Grenache, and 17% Boba. So it actually is only aged for 4 months. So it could be a pretty heavy wine. It's highly aromatic and expressive wine that combines all three of the previous grapes mentioned, bringing a different dimension and nuance to a smooth blend that is easy to enjoy. Boys, cheers.
Cheers,
Welcome
everyone.
back, everybody. Bing.
What I would say about this is that whoever's just getting the wine, this is a great one to have. It's just real
Wow.
smooth and fruity.
And it's recommended to be enjoyed a little bit more chilled, so I did have it chilled. Drink it at about 50 to 65 degrees, which is like refrigerator temperature essentially. It is pretty bold, I'm not gonna lie. Spanish wines usually are, but this even feels more so. But it's very smooth. It's very dark. It's a very, very dark wine. Not a lot of legs actually. Very smooth finish. George, what are your thoughts on it?
Like I said, fruity, easy to drink, big, bold, solid.
I think this is our better.
I drink this. I would
I
drink
think
this.
this has been my favorite
regularly.
wine we've done so far.
I would drink this regularly.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So
I think it's a little basic.
Not very complex.
it is
Yeah,
not
it's
complex.
It's not
at
complex. No.
It's just fruity. That's all
All.
it
It is
is.
very much just fruity.
Right.
It's like,
Maybe that's why I like it, because it's
Yeah.
so easy to drink. It's so chill.
I wish it was a little earthier. It had a little bit more going on.
Yeah.
Or
You don't
dip-
like the fact that it's just bold and fruity?
It's just, I don't know, purple fruit, plums. I don't know. I feel like it tastes nothing but purple fruit.
I feel like this is, if you told me this came from a box, I wouldn't doubt it. Because it is just very
Mhm.
bold and easy to drink.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it is very easy to drink, smooth.
Yeah. This would be for people who are just trying wine and want to just try, like, hey, I've heard big wine is good. I'd recommend this. You don't really need this with a meal.
Yeah.
You don't really need this with anything. So if you just want to have a nice chilled wine that isn't going to be too dry.
If you want a glass of wine at like 11 a.m.,
Oh,
this
for
is the
sure.
one.
Bold.
Yeah. Could you guys guess on out of 5 stars what the average review is? George, what's your guess?
3.9.
Juan?
2.3.
It's actually 4.4.
God.
So it's quite a high, but I think it's because it's so easy to drink.
The people are wrong.
Yeah, I think for the occasion, you really could just have this with anything. It's fucking cheap too.
I knew it was.
This was only like $18.
Oh shit! I thought it was cheaper than that. I thought it was like $8.
No. Oh no! You think I'm gonna bring that shit to an episode?
Well, I don't know. Maybe a test.
No, that would be dog shit. So overall, 2 out of the 3 of us like it.
I like it, but
You don't love it.
I don't think it's like a special occasion type of wine.
Yeah,
I would keep it like an everyday Monday through
yeah.
Wednesday type of wine.
If
But
you-
like I wouldn't bust this out on Friday on date night.
No, if you had a friend over who's like, "Oh, you got anything to drink?" You're like, "Well, I got this wine."
Yeah.
And you don't like really like him, but you're forced to hang out with him because your girlfriend's best friend's his girlfriend, and so now you kind of have to be like cool with him.
Or if you drink California Reds and are used to very fruity stuff,
Yeah,
this is a good segue into like European wines.
Yep.
that's a good point. So let's go into the weekly news. As always, Juan is our politician here at Bro Taste This. We leave him in charge to just about all the news. And this week,
My guy.
no, I'm kidding. This week, we're going to speak about the labor strikes that have been going on across the country, but more specifically at Kellogg's.
That's right. This week specifically, there's been a lot of labor and strikes going on all over the country with COVID pushing a lot of corporations and companies to work their companies on a bare bones staff level the last few years. Due to kind of COVID and a lot sending people home, a lot of people quitting. So it's pushing a lot of different workers, especially workers who have union representation all over the country, to use that representation to flex their muscle a little bit and stand up to certain bosses all over the country. For example, right now we have 2,000 Buffalo hospital workers, 2,000 Washington carpenters, 1,000 Alabama miners,
God damn.
700 Massachusetts nurses, 450 West Virginia steelworkers, 410 320 Kentucky whiskey workers, 350 Denver janitors, 300 LA aerospace manufacturers, 200 Reno bus drivers, 100 Pennsylvania teachers, 75 San Antonio Symphony musicians, and 50 West Virginia machinists on strike right now.
Jesus.
In addition to that, surpassing that right away, talking about potential strikes among these next following groups and institutions, we have 65,000 amongst the film and setup workers in Hollywood right now. Talking about a potential strike, so that's 65,000. 37,000 for the Kaiser healthcare workers in Oregon and California. 10,000 John Deere manufacturing workers, and thousands of grad students at Harvard, Columbia, Illinois State, and 20,000 California State University faculty members. All of these strikes are going on right now. Meanwhile, none of these things are ever covered in everyday news stations that you would follow, like your CNNs, your Foxes, MSNBCs. None of those things really ever cover labor as a whole. You can't even name one labor reporter off the top of your head. That's like a profession that's left for dinosaurs, essentially, at this point.
It's not really field coverage either. Like, when you see this, it's mostly through like social media posts of people all, getting together and doing this. I was gonna ask you guys before we start getting into some more facts about it. Do you think that part of this has to do with people just feeling completely fed up with the last couple of years of not only labor intensive, but just the general feeling of doom and gloom? And this is just how people are just fed up and they're just gonna protest no matter what. I'd say to an extent, obviously people are gonna strike when the going gets tough, because some of the way that these people are being treated is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it does not help that at the end of the day, it's been, it feels like 3-4 years of just absolute disarray of what has been a normal workplace for every single situation.
Yeah, and in the case with like a lot of these numbers that we just mentioned, like the John Deere, those particular workers, the setup workers in Hollywood, all of these institutions are essentially taking on people that have monopolized their business. Yeah. Like John Deere controls all of basically the majority of farming equipment and the repairs to that. Like, you can't even repair a piece of a tractor without taking it to the dealership, because they have to put their own proprietary software on it.
Well, it's like all warranty focused.
Exactly.
That equipment is just insane. So.
Yeah, they don't even have the rights to repair. So a lot of these workers are standing up to these companies that they know have huge pockets. And like the Kellogg's workers, like in some of the notes that we were talking about, how
there's an interesting quote here by Trevor Beidelman, the local union president at Kellogg's flagship plant in Battle Creek, said that they don't really have weekends, and quote, "We just work 7 days a week, sometimes 100 to 130 days in a row. For 28 days, the machines run, then rest 3 days for cleaning. They don't even treat us as well as they do their machinery."
Exactly. So when you hear like stories like that, and how they're doing those things, pushing their workers to those levels, and yet they're still gonna, in their next round of negotiations, gonna try to cut their benefits, cut their pay. They're gonna try to introduce more temp workers essentially into all those plants, so that they can pay them a fraction of the price of what they were paying. Like the proper full-time livable wage that they used to be paying to these union workers. Like for example, like I was reading that the wage that these Kellogg's workers were dealing with was $36 an hour, on average after their union negotiation. So that's what they're trying to protect, right? Yeah. Like if you don't have a union, you're never gonna see a number like that. You're never gonna. Never gonna work yourself like hard enough to go from $15 to $30 without changing your position or career entirely, right? That wage increase is not going to happen in the same position. Meanwhile, like a unionized factory will have wages like that, and then right down the street, a non-unionized factory will literally be paying their workers half of the wage that they're paying them down the road.
No, absolutely. And the way that they can get away with, you mentioned it earlier, with not paying people that way is just hiring temp works.
And that's what Kellogg's is trying to do right now.
They're like, well, why would we hire somebody full on when we can just get temporary work in? These union workers are going to make up for the hard work and just get the temp worker to fucking clean, mop, do the basic shit. And then once their contract runs out for like 3 months, get another temp worker in, So, no, I mean, it's ridiculous. And the crazy thing about it, Kellogg's is actually referencing an article in just want to make sure, the Philadelphia Inquirer that we'll put in the description below if you guys want to read it, done by, I want to get the name of the author because he did a really good job. Yeah. So the crazy thing that I didn't realize was that Kellogg's actually made a profit of about 1.2 billion in the year of 2020, which is fucking ridiculous. Because Kellogg's, you walk down any grocery store, I mean, every cereal, most of the cereals, but a lot of like the breakfast stuff, even like some of the bread is all Kellogg's.
Snack bars.
Yeah, any of the snack stuff is all Kellogg's. And the CEO, Stephen Cahalan, made about 11.6 million in 2020, or the shareholders boosted by a major stock buyback. So I misread that, but yeah, the CEO made 11.6 million, which is fucking ridiculous in 1 year, and I mean the COVID year.
And I mean, like, let's just reiterate what you just said. They quite literally invested in stock buybacks. They tried to inflate their stock prices so that the CEO could appear to be richer than he really is, so that his company evaluation would look better than it really is. Yeah. Rather than like investing in their workforce or keeping that money to pay workers.
Yeah, and you guys, I'm sure, remember what it was like during those first couple weeks of COVID, where, I mean, the stuff that was being bought out the quickest at every grocery store was stuff like cereal, pasta, ramen, stuff that like
dry goods.
Dry goods. And it was a pandemonium every time when you're like, dude, I remember at the time my parents actually bought toilet paper in bulk. And right around the time is when it like started to run out, so they just sent me to the store, and dude, every week, like anytime you'd go to the grocery store, it was hectic. And I was just trying to buy a couple rolls of toilet paper, but all these dry paper goods, like, you know, cereal, like what I just mentioned, were being bought the quickest because they can just sit in the shelf for the longest. So I mean, it's no surprise that a big company like Kellogg's made such a good profit in the year of COVID, but it is kind of surprising that the people that helped do that isn't necessarily the CEO. It was the very, very needed workers that were working the factories that kept everything going.
Yeah, damn right.
So
did they have a more profitable year last year than most years, or?
I know Kellogg's does pretty well already because they're such a big company, but that number of 1.2 billion. It'd be interesting to see.
That was an all-time high.
Yeah.
And they had hit it in like 3/4 of. They had hit their goals during their third quarter of the year.
I can actually look it up in 2019. Maybe we can actually do some reports. So yeah, it is public information. So their 2019 annual report.
Yeah, it's a big profit.
Definitely. That is an insane profit.
I mean, the CEO 11.6. That's. I feel like as a CEO for a company like Kellogg, that seems like like a normal salary of a CEO of a company that big.
I feel like normal is compared to whatever you pay some of like your lower tier employees, because that's like the formula that's employed in a majority of quote unquote democracies, where they basically have like CEO pay caps, where a CEO can only be paid like 400x what you pay the lowest employee in your company, or some number like that. And like, while we used to have numbers that were kind of similar to, I don't know, 100x or like 2050x, ever since like the 70s, that number has just skyrocketed into like the hundreds and like 1,000x.
Yeah.
Where the CEOs are taking they're taking just a majority of the pie compared to what they were taking just 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at their numbers here on WSJ Markets, WSJmarket.com. And yeah, I mean, it is pretty ridiculous compared to the other years. Their sales grew. They were actually down in 2019, 1.7%, and ended up going up by 36%
Jesus.
in 2020 alone.
Jeez.
So they did
What?
pretty well.
That's cool. Well done.
Look at this. Net income growth was actually down negative 28.14% in 2019, and in 2020 it was 30.31%. The year before that, 2018, 6.54% income growth. The year before that was 80%, which is pretty ridiculous. So they must have done something different or acquired some company for it to grow that much. But yeah, I mean, it is no it is no small feat. Net income growth is up 30% in the year of 2020. That is absolute lunacy. Wow. Very surprising. Do you guys feel like this would have happened even if it wasn't for COVID? Like, obviously Kellogg's and companies like this maybe wouldn't have had such a crazy year, but at the same time, do you feel like people just are fed up about minimum wage, and you think this was going to happen eventually?
Okay.
COVID just expedited it?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, it was the catalyst to be like,
Yeah.
all right, you've been overworking us, and finally this is enough. Like, we've had it. And because you see that even in like restaurants, like I keep seeing video probably every week of like restaurant having to shut down because all the staff walks out. And I know that's been a common theme on this podcast and what we talk about of, very poor work environment in a restaurant, but even more so, like, working during COVID was god fucking awful for all of us, and for everyone who did it. I mean, you were called an essential worker, and then when you asked for a raise, it was like, whoa, you weren't that essential.
Those pats on the back were supposed to be enough.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, was this going to happen eventually? Because I think the answer might be yes, but it just depends on.
I do think COVID accelerated it, though.
Right.
And it made people, it woke a lot of people up that didn't see their job as that essential almost. They were like, oh shit, well, I'm on the front line, I'm a cashier, I have people in my face, spitting in my face all day.
I'm handling cash, I'm handling people's credit cards, like I'm touching what they're touching.
Exactly. I'm taking a risk during these particular times, and my compensation doesn't act or like show for it.
Right. I mean, you look at fast food restaurants, Essential, Walgreens, and CVS, and all these other pharmacies, Essential, grocery stores, Essential, and those are the people we pay the least.
Yep.
Like, generally, those are the people we pay bare minimum wage, and we try to hire, like, kids in high school, like, the most low-level income that we can possibly do.
Yeah, so they can keep paying them low amounts.
Right, and it's kind of ridiculous. And I hope that this actually means that going forward, we're able to get some change. And
I mean, like, on some of the notes that we had here, we had a few charts by the Economic Policy Institute, where we were looking at worker productivity, compensation, and union membership from 1950s to 2018. And it just showed how, for a long time, productivity and compensation were tied together because union membership was high.
yeah,
So that union memberships or unions in general could go to the bosses and be like, yo, your workers are producing like motherfuckers right now. You better like show them the coin to pay for it. And they would. And for a long time, that was the case until about like 1980.
1980s, where it looks like the charts kind of diverge in the percentage of change in compensation and productivity.
Exactly.
So we'll have these charts in the description down below if you want to take a look at them. But yeah, no, it's absolutely ridiculous what they were able to suddenly change in the 1980s when
union membership started going down,
right,
while productivity still skyrocketed, and while those hourly compensation and productivity used to be tied together because union membership was high, and like that was a good angling, negotiation tactic.
Right.
But that since union membership got cut, that was no longer a tactic that could be employed.
Right. And you see kind of this trend in the chart where productivity literally starts in the bottom left corner and then just progressively hits the top right corner of the chart. And you see union membership start to go up, and then right around 1980 just go straight to the bottom right. And I remember seeing stuff last year and the year before where Amazon was actually making fake Twitter posts in order to
bust that
entice
union
people,
movement in Alabama,
Right.
the Bessemer, Alabama
exactly.
union
They were
plant.
literally
Yeah,
creating fake Twitter posts saying like, "Man, I hate what the unions would bring to my workplace."
dude, they had posters in the stalls in the bathrooms at
Yeah.
those plants that would have anti-union messages.
Which is crazy to hear about. So it'd be like pictures of like celebrities as their Twitter profiles that were just probably some software built them all. And yeah, I mean, people were able to look into it and see that all the emails were fake emails. They were just created on the fly and just spam tweet like anti-union membership propaganda. It's fucking crazy. Like at the end of the day, you just got to make sure that workers are being taken care of. Like especially in a place like Amazon, any one of these factories, they're gonna try to create a union.
Well, I mean, they haven't before, but it looks like the conditions are meeting for that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's simple. Like you just don't take advantage that much. Like obviously, whoever made the company, the higher up, should be making more money. But like
Yeah,
as I mean, everything gets higher every year. Like
Yeah.
every year, wages should be going higher. Every year, you should be making more money, but your people should be making more money. Like
Yeah.
It's not. At least in my mind, it's nothing against them and how much they make. Like
Right.
they took all the risks. They deserve
Yeah.
to make a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But these people also deserve to make more money each year.
Yes.
Respectful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We are not an
Continuously,
yeah,
yeah.
we're not an anti-capitalism podcast. Like all of us think that people should be making the right amount of money, but when it comes to the success that some of these companies are having because they're able to just completely create a staggering gap between themselves and the actual workers doing the hard heavy work. I mean, it's fucking staggering. It's ridiculous. Like, yes, the CEO should be making the most money. He's the one making all the tough decisions. But the CEO shouldn't be making 100% more than the fucking factory workers.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we used to have like a certain societal like golden rule that we would like view CEOs as. Like we would see a CEO in 1970s, 1980s, and almost like as a society they would think to themselves, well, they should be making like 20 times what the janitor in their company is working. And that was kind of like the golden rule of the time. But like we have completely forgotten about any sort of like rule like that to hold those top executives and decision makers in those companies to, where that number has just completely skyrocketed into like maybe 100, 1,000 times what the lowest workers in those companies are making on a yearly basis.
Well, a rule like that would be kind of skewed. Like
Yeah,
imagine like
change.
imagine like a warehouse worker for a company here and then a warehouse worker for Amazon. You know what I mean? You can't compare by multiplying by 20 by those people. Like,
No, I'm not saying the 20 is the
or
number
just
I was
any number,
giving
even
that X.
any number, any number X wouldn't. They couldn't be universal.
The way that I've seen that's like handled in a lot of places is that they have sectoral unions where like the whole hospitality sector will negotiate for wages rather than, or like the whole warehousing sector will negotiate for wages. The whole oil sector will negotiate for wages rather than like comparing a warehouse to an oil job or like, and that's supposed to iron away a lot of those differences. But like I get what you're saying. You can't take a hard
number,
a hard rule.
I mean, we can't even agree on how we should pay them. Why? And there's three of us in a room. Like, it seems like starting off, they immediately have an idea of what they should be paying these warehouse workers and what the CEO should be making. When instead it should be, like you said, a negotiation of like, all right, like the guys that are filing this, the guys that are collecting the trash, the guys that are, doing the heavy lifting. Everybody should definitely be. On to the wine. Final thoughts, guys. Overall, now that we've had a full glass, what do you guys think? Let's go around the room. Jay, MF, May. What do you think?
I like it. I like it. It's a good, easy one to drink. Yeah, it's not very complex, not at all. But it's a good. It's a good, end of the night drink. You don't have to have it with dinner.
I would even say if you don't drink wine, you might like this.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
100%.
Good point.
If you just want to try something different, the alcohol percentage is very low. It's only 13%, which is good.
13% is not low, homie.
You think 13% is high?
That's on the higher end, dude.
I think
little
like
higher.
15 and higher.
15 is high, but 13 is high-ish.
High-ish?
Yeah.
So what's low? Like 10, you think?
I've seen Albarinos for like 7%.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I love me an Albarino.
Albarinos are nice.
Like a white Albarino.
But I don't know if that's
Aren't
just like a
all
white
Albarenos
thing.
white?
I don't know if that's a white thing because I think
Like a white
reds
thing.
are naturally higher alcohol.
Yeah, no, for sure. I really like it. I think you could buy a case of this and not feel bad about it. It's
What?
it's worth the price. It's definitely worth having, and I recommend it if you are, like I said, having a friend over. That's definitely the occasion I'd have, and you just want to try something, or if you want to buy a case of this for a party. I think this would go perfect.
Oh, there it is. You sure this isn't 15%?
With that being said, we're going to take a quick break and then go into the main topic. Alright. What do you guys think about my new look? I'm parting my hair. What do you guys think?
It's nice.
Not a fan? Fans?
I like it. I
How
love
do we
it.
feel?
Feels very Korean. Looks good. I like
I was
it.
very inspired by Squid Games. It
You
really
look
did.
like an anime character.
That's what I'm going for. I'm trying to look like Super Saiyan 2.
What's that one?
Trunks.
Maybe not that anime character.
Trunks is cute, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do look like Trunks.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm going for. Trunks is the GOAT, bro. Favorite Dragon Ball character.
Trunks is my favorite.
Trunks is
Dragon
pretty
Ball.
fire.
He's got that sword.
He's got the Z sword.
Ooh.
Mhm.
God damn.
Fire.
I mean, I think Gohan, fucking during the Cell Saga,
Mhm.
gas, dude. They fucking,
That one too.
bro. Gohan is. Have you seen any anime?
No.
Are you interested at all?
No.
You're not interested in anime at all?
I feel like it's one of those things I could definitely get hooked to, but I just
Dude,
don't.
you get
I just don't have the
hooked bad.
time.
And they're short though. They're only like 20 episodes each. I mean, they're pretty short.
Yeah.
Each.
It's the reading too, cause.
Most of them are dubbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
The Dragon Balls, yeah.
Dragon Ball.
Those
Well,
are-
dubbed.
yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Ball's all dubbed. I recommend that. My Hero Academia is pretty good. Attack on Titan is by far one of the best. Death Note. Really
Is
good.
Attack on Titan about like mechs and robots and stuff like that?
No, it's actually about these giant. They look like humans, but they're just like 30, 40, up to 100 feet tall. And they just attack this town that is surrounded by walls. And they're trying to wonder how did they breach it? Where did these special titans come from? I couldn't recommend it. I liked it so much that I read the manga before the anime was finished. I was like, I gotta see how this shit ends. It's like Game of Thrones, but in
Oh,
anime.
okay.
It's,
But Asian people.
yeah, but beautiful Asian people. Couldn't recommend the show enough. All right, people. With that being said, speaking of Asian people, we're gonna talk about our siblings.
Oh, Asian people.
So we are actually all three the oldest of our family, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we'll kind of just go around. This is going to be more of a kumbaya, lighthearted episode.
I disagree. I feel like this is gonna be some borderline therapy type shit.
It
but-
might be. It might be. Also,
we'll get to that in a different episode.
yeah, exactly. So first of all, how many siblings do each of you have? We'll start with Juan.
I have two. I have a younger brother, and I have a younger sister. They are.
Yeah, what's the age difference? So how old are you, and what's the age difference?
I'm 25. My younger brother is 23. Yeah.
And then your younger sister.
And my younger sister,
Carry the 3.
Minus
she's
the one.
13. No, 14.
She's 14.
Yeah.
I thought she was younger.
No, she's
for some
13.
reason.
13.
13.
The last time I spoke to you, I thought she was younger for some reason. I thought she was like.
She
seven.
probably was at that time.
No, I mean like like a month ago when I spoke.
No, she's 13.
To you. I know she was. I know you were already like a teenager.
Man, she might even be 14.
Is she in high school?
She's around.
She's in 8th grade. Boom.
So she's probably
14.
13, 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay.
I have 3 little younger brothers. I have one that is
You want me to
17.
speak
I
into
have, I have one that's 17.
He's that old already?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I have one that's 13 and I have one that is 4 going on 5.
Damn.
Yeah.
I also have 2
I'm-
siblings.
And I'm 24.
So what is the age difference? So you got what, 6
Joseph
years?
was like 8 when he was born. 7. I was 8 when Joseph was born.
Damn. So he was a young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
God damn. And then your youngest is even. Well, not the youngest, but the second youngest is
Yeah.
even.
Even younger. 13. Yeah.
I have 2. I have a younger brother and a younger sister. There's a 4.5 year difference between me and my younger brother, who is 22 now, and then my youngest sister is 7.5 years. So she's in college now. She's 19. So we're the oldest of the bunch. Overall, what was your relationship like growing up with both of them? Was it the same or different? I guess I can take this one first. With my brother, it was definitely fighting a lot, like a lot, almost every day. With my sister, it was a little different because she was so much younger. She was a girl that she was overall babied, and she is listening to this, so fuck you. She was babied and spoiled, so my relationship was always kind of like of making sure that I wasn't being a total asshole and she was just completely spoiled. So Juan, what about you?
I feel like you didn't tell us enough there, buddy.
No, we'll get into it, but
All right.
That's
just a little
what was the
surface.
relationship? Yeah,
a
what
little
was the
surface
relationship?
work. I mean,
Growing up specifically. We'll get into more details, but yeah.
with my younger sister, I grew up.
I mean, you were a teenager at the time.
Yeah, I was a teenager, so like, she would even say it herself sometimes when she was really young. I would almost be like a third parent, kind of like taking her around places, because that's kind of what you are at that.
Yeah.
If you have a toddler, young sibling, and you're old enough to know better. So that was my relationship with her. I now though it's kind of developed into, me being like the more kind of hard ass that my parents never really are. Cause like I'll just start to I'll sort of ask her what time she did her, or if she's done her homework, to do her homework, tell her to go to bed, things like that, when she should be doing those things already, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've taken that approach with her. So now I would say she used to be a really big fan of me. Now not so much because I'm kind of the hard ass.
Yeah, your mom and dad are easy on her.
Yeah. Well, with my brother, we're in, so I guess, kind of close enough in age that
I would say probably the closest of the 3 of us to some
Yeah.
sibling in age.
Yeah, that like we ran hot and cold. Like we would be really good friends, and like we would stick, like, I guess, have a lot of interaction for like a few years, and then another few years we would kind of drift apart and like not really like.
Yeah.
I mean, we would always okay, but sometimes we would run closer than other times when we were growing up, because I mean he's around my age. He has his own interests, likes. Like he was always a little bit more into video games, I would say, than I was.
Okay.
Or a lot more. Yeah. Well, I was only like casual, while I would say he's like a pretty hardcore guy.
Yeah, pretty good game.
So yeah, but I would say that was my relationship dynamic. It ran kind of hot and cold with him and with my sister.
Right.
She used to be a big fan of me as a youngin, and now that I kind of have to be like a hard ass, she's still a fan in some points, but like she knows that I kind of have to be a hard ass, so she doesn't view me as friendly as she used to.
Yeah. What about George?
Man, it's a process. It's different in different stages. Just 'cause I was so much older than them when they were little, so I like.
Do you have the biggest age difference?
Yeah.
Because if he said by far. 'Cause
By far.
They're 17.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, when Joseph was born, helped take care of him. You know what I mean, and watch that kid at,
So you're
like
what,
9,
7?
10. Yeah, like 8. No, like 8 when he was born. Then Uriah was like 11. So, I mean, I was growing. I mean, I was already big when they were little. So they're at that little stage for a while. So I was more like like an older brother, but like took care of them, watched over
Right.
them type of thing. It wasn't like a type of relationship where it was like, where we could like hang out, which is just starting to be more recent like that, because there's a period there where
Well, those are so young.
I left for, well, when they went to like a really big age gap of like growing up, that's when
And they also
that's
grew
when
up
I
together.
that's when I left for like college and moved out of the house for
Yeah.
like 4 years. I didn't see them for a couple years in that period, so it was yeah. So
A growing
yeah,
dynamic.
yeah. So I missed a lot of that growing, like that stage between like like 5th through 8th grade. For
When they
both
kind
of
of
them.
became like teenagers.
Yeah, where they start growing into their own, and then kind of came back when they started getting a little bit older. So
Yeah.
now that they're a little bit older, it's weird because you're at a stage where you're like
You're almost
you're
like,
like
oh.
watching them and you're taking care, but now they're like have their own ideas, have their own thoughts, and then
Yeah.
it's a different type of like respect type of thing now. So we'll
No, for
definitely-
sure.
But it's cool. It's cool to see that they're getting big now.
Yeah. No, that's yeah. My siblings are the oldest in the room. It is weird seeing like, especially my older brother. Well, of the two, he's younger than me, but yeah, like he is becoming an adult, and so we've always been like in and out of each other's lives because, like, I went to college when he was still only a freshman in high school, so I was completely out of his life from that point, and he would only see me like a couple times a month, and then when I came back home and I started living at home, he actually moved out when he was 19. A couple times he ended up living in Madison for a while, and he ended up traveling the country with a construction company. So I just missed like him becoming 18 to like 21, which is always really interesting. And now that he's like, we're both adults and like we're able to talk to each other, it is weird because you almost always see each other in a way of like, well, that's just my little brother, but in a sense of like, now he's a fucking grown man and he's making his own decisions. So now with my little sister, who like him and I. What about now though? What's your relationship like with it now? I know we kind of touched upon it, but
It's getting better.
Yeah.
It's a learning curve.
there's an age where you just like hate each other.
I never
No,
hated them.
you
No.
never like throughout the years were like, I am gonna argue.
No, they're
With me
tiny.
and my siblings, there was a big age group where we like hated. And now looking back at it, and like obviously years of therapy, you realize like it was just the environment, and it was just like
Yeah.
things that maybe you couldn't control that ended up playing into the situation that definitely had nothing to do with the sibling. It was just the sibling was the closest in age and the person that was right there.
Yeah.
So it ultimately like, yeah. What about Juan?
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to that. I had some ages where me and my brother, like I said, we would run hot and cold would sometimes be like angry at each other and like
You
not
ever start
really.
throwing hands?
We
Have you ever
nah.
like, physically fought?
No, we've never fought like throwing punches, but we've
Yeah.
pushed each other and shit like that.
Have you?
Yeah, I have.
With Omar?
Yeah,
Like-
not
like
fun
punches?
experience. Yeah,
He threw a punch to you.
yeah, and like we were older than we should have been.
You're so much bigger than him though.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah,
say,
but it was like I couldn't hit him, and it's like so.
Not even a slap?
No.
what do you mean you couldn't hit him?
I would've
He
slapped
started
him.
punching you,
Bro,
and you
I
felt
would-
like you had to take it.
Yeah. Well, because dude, at 21 or I think I was 20. It was when he had.
You
just
might have
moved
gone to
back.
jail. Yeah.
I
If
cannot-
you react, yeah, you might
Like,
go.
he
to
was
jail.
over 18.
Yeah, he was over 18. I was
Oh.
already in my 20s, and we just had an argument that just escalated for no reason, and it escalated like again because of the environment that we were in. It escalated, and I was just trying to hold him so that he wouldn't hit me, but he was like actively swinging at me, and I don't blame him at all, and like I understand why he did it because I was being an asshole at the time, but yeah, I was like, dude, I cannot. I'm twice his size. Like, you guys have seen my brother.
Yeah.
It's not his fault
Yeah.
that he's a little bit skinny.
Dude,
That's
what?
the genetics we got. So,
That's rude, bro. That's rude.
Humble flex.
yeah,
Humble brag.
it was. We're thin people. So,
We're thin people.
Dude, I never got in a fight with my brother, but once I got in a
about
fight
your younger
for
sister?
my brother, like he was just essentially getting like pushed around by this like tomboy girl in my grade.
How quickly?
What?
Bro, I shit you not.
How
Yo,
quickly from seeing it happen? Because I got a story that I want to tell now. But how quickly from the moment you saw it happen to getting involved?
okay, so let me paint a scene for you. Like,
Beautiful.
where it's winter. I'm in a church parking lot. There is
The worst place to be.
some sort of food raising or a food fundraiser
Right.
in the basement of the church, and there's like huge mounds
Was it a
of
Catholic
snow
church?
outside. Yeah,
Oh, those are the
St.
worst.
Andrews and Delavan.
Oh,
So
we'll
yeah,
leave that name out.
so like a lot of the kids are outside. It's winter. There's huge snow mounds in the parking lot. So you're playing on the snow mounds, jumping around, doing whatever. They're quite literally like 15 feet high, like very tall.
Jesus.
And my brother was out there, and I don't remember how or why, but his ass was like essentially a tomboy girl that was like a gangster wannabe. Actually, her dad was in and out of jail.
A little
Like,
chola.
you know what? I'm gonna say she was not a gangster wannabe. Her dad was a pretty gangster guy. Like, yeah, like she told me some stuff as we got older about
Makes sense.
like drug use and stuff like that. That like, you know what? I'm not gonna say wannabe because it seems like you lived it pretty hardcore. So like, there's this girl, right, tomboy girl, and she's standing over my brother, just like holding him to the snow, pinning him to the
Yeah.
ground. So I just go over there and I do the same thing to her, and I just
You're like, nah, bitch, we're not doing this today.
yeah, I just took like I pushed her off of him, and then
Good.
I held her down to the
Good.
snow. But bro, she fought for like half an hour. She had no quit. I'm just like wrestling to like hold position like a UFC fighter on top of her.
You just wanted it down.
I'm just like, bitch, just give up. Like, just say quit. Like, just say you
For
want to go
30
home.
minutes,
Like 30 minutes of her just like, no, leave me alone. Blah, blah. And I'm just like, dude,
Oh,
just.
damn.
And she would not give up. And yeah, eventually like adults had to intervene and whatnot. But
Damn. I will say Juan is quick to action. I don't know if
You know, Juan's quick to hit a girl.
yeah, no, for sure.
what the fuck does that mean?
No, there was one time where I was at a Halloween party. I think you might know.
Oh yeah.
I was at a Halloween party, and there was a certain gentleman who wanted to speak to me that I did not want to speak to, who was not very likable in this area code and county. And he like tapped me on the back. He goes, "Hey man, can we talk?" And I was like, "No." And this is in the basement. So the party was going on in the basement, and then there was an upstairs that was just the kitchen, living room. We were told specifically by the house guest, please stay downstairs at all costs. So we're like, yeah, we can absolutely do that. So I'm downstairs, I'm doing my thing, and then like an hour later, you know, I'm a little faded, I'm a little double crossed. Go ahead, Juan.
I was just gonna say I totally forgot that they asked us to do that because I spent a lot of time upstairs.
Well, we did it. We did it afterwards, and we'll get into that. But I was a little double crossed, you know. I was cross fados, barbaros, and again, like an hour later, he taps me on the back and he goes, I think I was like taking pictures and just fucking around, and he's like, "Hey man, can we talk?" And he was a little drunk, and I could tell. And I was like, I literally said, I was like, "Dude, I don't want to talk to you. Do not approach me again." And we're upstairs drinking water. I think I brought a bottle of wine, and that's why we were upstairs. Because I brought a bottle of Pinot Noir, and I was like, "Hey, I want you to try this."
Hell yeah.
And we're upstairs, and I'm opening the bottle, and this piece of shit just corners me in the kitchen corner, and he's like, "Hey man, I just want to fucking say, blah 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 blah." And I was like, "That's what you wanted to tell me? That's what you wanted to tell me?"
That was what was so important all fucking night.
Right, all night you wanted to make a fucking deal about something that doesn't even matter. And so Juan, like, not even a minute later after the guy walks away, comes up to me and he's like, "Bro, is it about to go down? Dude, I'll jump in if I fucking have to." And I was like, "Nah, man, he just said this and that." And you're like, "Nah, bro, but if he wants to fucking throw down, let's throw down." And I was like, "All right, man, like, it's good to know you have my back."
It's a personal thing for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was personal.
You really don't like him?
Yeah, I really don't like him.
we really don't like him.
Yeah, we really don't like him.
He's not that bad.
He's pretty bad.
You don't know him.
Yeah, you don't know the ins and outs. Can you talk into the mic for God's sake?
I know.
No, you don't know.
I know what we're talking about.
It's that tea, bro, and that tea beat green tea.
Bro, he's a fucking snake.
Yeah, he's a snake. He's a piece of shit. And on this podcast, we did not endorse snakes.
What's his name?
We'll just go with. We usually call him garbage. That's what I usually call him.
That's not nice. That's not nice, guys.
But it was nice to know that Juan had my back. Back to the sibling. What's a fond memory that you have of each other? Like that you have of each other? Because one that really stands out to me is, I think it was just a couple years ago when, like, after I started going to therapy, my parents really wanted to go to Wisconsin Dells. So we ended up going to the Dells, and then my brother wasn't able to go. But in that, like, my sister and I really bonded together. And, like, my sister and I have a much more friendly relationship than my brother and I. My brother and I is more, like, professional. It's like, you know, I really want him to do well and be happy. And he obviously wants the same for me. With my sister, it's a lot more friendly because we're more similar in personality. So yeah, I would say the fond memory was definitely like just going to Wisconsin Dells. Like,
You had a really memorable trip there.
yeah, just like being young and just like getting to know, really getting to know each other as people. And like not too long ago, my brother and I were hanging out, and like just getting to know him as a person. You're like, I never knew that like you were this way. And you always hear stories about each other, and you know he would be like, do you have a drinking problem? And I'm like, no. It's called a podcast.
It's called a podcast.
Where we break
Are
down
we
wine.
masking our alcoholism?
Somebody asked me the other day, like, oh, do you like wine?
You don't want to know.
I'm like, you know.
Tell me why.
Spotify.com/BroTasteThis.
Tell me why my bar manager the other day had a similar like question. She's like, "Do you know anything about wine?"
And you just say,
And I was like, "I don't have a wine podcast or anything like that. Don't slap me in the face."
yeah, like it is fun to be like, no, I'm more than I should know.
More than I should.
What about Jay? Fond memory of you and the siblings?
Man, I don't know. I feel like when they were younger, all the times were fond. I don't know.
Not
They're just
one that stands out.
specifically.
Yeah, there wasn't like, oh, that was really sweet. We all went to Mexico together. I forgot that. That was really cool. When we were like super, super young. My
Yeah.
sister was like, oh no, I never went to Mexico with my sister. Never mind. She wasn't born at the time. My brother and I did. You know what? I did. My brother and I did go to Mexico when we were really young. I was 5 and he was 3, and that was awesome.
Do you have any stories from Mexico? Because I got a few stories from Mexico.
Dude, it was the shit. I stayed with my grandparents. My parents were in the process of coming over here, so it was just me, my brother, and an older cousin of mine. And yeah, we spent a bunch of time out there. We probably spent like close to a month in Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just us 3
Hanging out, shooting the shit.
Yeah, my older cousin is 2.5 years older than me. I'm 4 years older than my brother, so we were like
A good age range.
right. And
Yeah.
so we were kids and just in Mexico with no rules, not having to go to school, and it was the shit, man.
Dude, on
Sounds great.
on a trip to Mexico while I was around 12, my brother was 10.
That's the perfect age.
Yeah, we went by ourselves, no parents or anything.
God damn.
Because like, you know, my parents, if they would have gone over there, they wouldn't have been able to come back.
Same
Like,
with
they
mine.
can now, but at that
Yeah.
time they wouldn't have been able to. And so obviously they sent us with like an older cousin or some
Yeah.
aunts, uncles,
Just like, they'll
someone,
take care of themselves.
a trustworthy relative,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And they're sending you to 10 aunts who like normally live within like 1 square mile of each
Yeah.
other, so they should be able to take care of you. Point is, I'm over there in Mexico hanging out, and it's like a pretty open block.
Yeah.
You're a kid. You're allowed to roam the whole town, essentially walking around during the day, like
by yourself.
yeah, by yourself or with like your cousin who's like
Which is
2 years
absurd to
older
think
than
about.
you.
Yeah.
And should probably not be trusted either. But you know, you guys are just out there hanging out in the town, and me and my younger brother were playing hide and seek while it was like, I don't know, in that twilight hour where the sun is going down, but it's also going down faster than you think.
Yeah.
So we're playing hide and seek with the neighborhood kids. There's like 15 of us. We're out in the neighborhood in a subdivision that they're just raising and building up.
Yeah.
And I would say like 5 minutes into the game, I just hear, ah! And my fucking little brother fell into a construction pit that was like 8 to 9 feet deep.
Holy.
So he just fell in a hole like
was
that.
in a well.
It was probably gonna be a basement or something like that. Yeah. And,
I mean, dude, he found a good hiding spot. Up there.
and we had to like create like a
human
chain
ladder.
of monkeys essentially, and, like, bring him up with all these neighborhood kids.
That's hilarious.
And that's one little.
Did he make it out?
Yeah, we got him out of there. He was crying though, but I mean, I mean, it makes sense. You're a little kid. You're falling into the dark. There's no. You don't got a cell phone and a flashlight on you. Yeah.
That's funny.
And then on a different hide and seek game, dude, like same trip, same Mexico trip. We're playing this time during the day, and we're playing on our own property with our cousins rather than neighborhood kids. So we're keeping it local. And he decides to get on like the bordering brick wall fence of the property.
Okay.
Where on our side, it's our side, our property, and then on the other side, it's a bull enclosure.
Yeah.
And a field of cactus or nopales.
Yeah.
And he tried to climb the ledge to get onto the roof of the house, and he fell over the ledge and fell out to the cactus and into the bulls. And we were all like, what the fuck? I don't want to go in there and die.
I don't want to go in there and die.
This happened to your brother, the same brother?
Yeah, the same brother,
What
dude. He had both of those incidents on
He
the same
struggled.
Mexico trip.
That kid struggled.
All while playing hide and seek, dog. Like,
That
hide
was-
and seek was not his friend.
That was a sign. Send him back home.
Damn.
That's
bro.
funny, man.
Oh my.
That's funny.
God. Oh, that is awful.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Rudier.
Yeah,
my,
he's okay.
my brothers are so different. Like, Joseph's so, like, the older one, he's calm. He's kind of a little bit more emotional. But then the little one is just absolutely just
a savage.
nuts. Just
What does that
crazy.
mean?
Like, he's just,
Dude.
as a kid, he was
Is that
just
like
like,
high energy? Is that like
he's chill, but like, he's just like,
Very high energy.
he's just
crazy
like,
smart?
yeah,
talks back.
they're smart.
Everything is a
Smart
talk
ass.
back.
He's just I don't know. He just knows at a young age. He's just like one of those guys that just people follow. Like in his classroom, like people just follow him because he just like
Usually,
just the things he says.
usually the
Like
guys with older brothers
Yeah.
end up being leader types because they
Yeah.
like, kind of have a window into a lot of
Yeah.
he just like, but even as
behavior they
a
should model.
even as a little kid, man, he just do crazy things, and you're just like, why? Like it's like that's the constant question with him is like, why? Just why do you do that?
Yeah.
Like as a kid, he's that kid that like wouldn't want to go to sleep. He'd climb out of his crib at like 1.5 years old and like jump out. We had to put weights on the door as like a 1 and 2 year old. And we put like 45-pound weights, like 3 of them stacked.
What the?
He'd find a way to move them and get out of the bed. He just did crazy things. Like I remember one time he was I was in my room. He'd have been like 2-3 years old. And he I just hear like I'm sleeping and he comes into my room early in the morning and he comes to me and I sleep on my
How
back.
old are you?
I'm probably like 13, 14. He's like 3. And I'm like laying on my back. And this kid just like, all of a sudden I'm sleeping. And then this kid punches me in my nuts. And I'm just like, and I wake up. I was like, who? And I just hear little footsteps just going, like running out of the room. And he just like sprinted out. But he's just crazy like that. Like, you know what I
He
mean?
knew
Like,
that hitting you was gonna be a
yeah, like
consequence.
he knows how to get into people's skin where he would just do it on purpose. Like he likes the attention. Like he loves the attention, so he'll just like do stuff
I was
like
gonna
that.
say, yeah, that sounds like
He loves the attention.
Oh my
So like
God,
as a
that's
kid
funny.
he'd do stuff like that, and now it's like it's like I don't know, you know.
yeah. What did he grow up to be like?
He's
If
a good
that's-
kid. He's a good kid. All the teachers like say he's a good kid, but he's just like
You know,
Kinda-
you know he's trouble.
High energy.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
you know he's got the highest probability out of all 3 of us to get a girl pregnant
For sure.
at high school.
For sure.
Like,
Jeez, you alright?
yeah. Like he's
That's
this
one way
tall-
to break it down.
He looks like me now. Like he kind of looks
Yeah.
like me like
Like
right
a-
now, but he's as tall as me.
He looks like a
He looks
slimmer version.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It looks
He's
really weird.
13.
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
Damn, like, he probably still has another 4 inches in him too.
Oh,
Of
I
height.
don't know.
No,
I stopped growing at like 8th grade around his age.
Damn, you fucking hit growth spurt early.
Yeah, I was like 5'9" in like 8th grade.
And then you were 5'10" and
I'm 5'9" now.
you're 5'9".
Yeah.
Shout out to all the short kings, everybody under 5'9". You
Whoa,
deserve
whoa,
one too.
I'm
You
5'9".
deserve-
I'm not under
5'9"
5'9".
and young, 5'9" and shorter. Y'all deserve love too.
Whoa. How are you gonna put me in that category?
5'9" and shorter, y'all deserve love too. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, no.
Shout out to all the short kings out there. Make sure you like and subscribe this episode. To all the short kings, we wish you well.
Luis is 5'10".
I'm 5'11".
He is not. Let's measure him.
I don't believe George is 5'9", by the way. Just saying.
I think you might be a little bit shorter.
I think it's short.
You think so?
Yeah. I think you're probably 5'8".
Interesting.
And I'm
Not that there's a difference.
we should
be honest.
Not that changes you as a person because height doesn't matter.
We should do that one of these days.
I have a tape measure somewhere.
Yeah.
Damn.
Let's not do it today because
y'all smell that? Is that fragile smell or male ego I smell? What the fuck?
Listen,
let's do our biceps and our quads.
Jesus.
Let's measure our cocks.
Yeah, I was gonna say measure our dicks while you're at it.
The only way to measure your cock is all the way back at the asshole.
How much do your balls weigh, by the way?
Dude, I got old man balls, unfortunately.
What does that mean?
Dude, they're just big.
That means that they sag all the way to his
big and
knees.
old. Yeah.
What does that even mean? What do you mean?
That means-
Why do they get bigger as you're older?
What do you
Gravity,
mean by
baby.
big? Yeah.
You know, like older women have.
That doesn't mean they're bigger. That just means the sack is bigger. It doesn't mean the balls are bigger.
Bigger balls. Like my dick just sits on top of them.
It acted like a baby in a car seat,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. It's just I was blessed in the wrong way. I just got unfortunate.
I wish they reversed the ratio.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. It's all right, man. You can't have it all. All right, man. Speaking of siblings, was there favoritism or equal love given to your
What? What question is that?
Was there favoritism?
Mm,
I can definitely say in mine, 100%.
I don't.
It's like my mom molded my sister to be exactly what she wanted to be, and my dad, the same with my brother. It was like mom's favorite, dad's favorite,
And
then-
nobody liked you?
definitely not.
Is that how you
And
felt?
then even each set of my grandparents had a favorite. Like my mom's,
It wasn't you?
no. My mom's parents loved my sister, and my dad's parents definitely, I don't know, they're in Mexico. God bless them. But yeah, no, there was always definitely favoritism in my family.
Amongst my family, we didn't have. I don't think the favoritism
clear
was
favoritism?
obvious enough to be able to notice one amongst the parents, like towards one, either me or my brother. I didn't notice a concentration of attention from either parent towards one kid, you know.
Yeah.
But what I did notice, and like, not that there's anything wrong with that, but like, as kids, you would have an affinity towards a certain aunt or uncle, and they would kind of like adopt you like under their wing as like you're like almost like their special like nephew or whatever.
Yeah.
And you just almost count on them like an extra parent.
It's almost like a second mom or dad.
Yeah.
Now
So
that you mentioned that,
so I noticed that I had like a plethora of my godparents, and like a few aunts that were took a liking to me, and they were always trying to play that angle with me.
yeah.
But other than that, I wouldn't say that from my parents I saw a lot of
There wasn't clear
favoritism.
favoritism.
For with my brother, but with my younger sister,
Well, yeah, I mean,
I blame it more on their wanting to work as much as they do, that they are like super laxed on all like the rules and stuff that we had growing up. All that shit just went out the window with the youngest kid.
they're like, they can do whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
they
parents get way lazier as the kids.
The third kid can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you, man, Jamie, since like you have a mom who still has like somewhat young kids, do you think that she
Definitely young kids.
was less disciplined with them than she was with you? Or?
I think it was the other way around. She was less disciplined with me than she was with them.
Huh.
But-
that's the way it should be.
But
Because you think they'd learn.
But yeah, that's probably the thing, because my mom was young. She was 18 when she had me, so
Yeah.
she was
Still figuring
Yeah,
stuff out.
yeah.
Figuring
she
stuff
was
out.
still figuring how to be a parent.
Yeah. How to be an adult.
Which made me
too.
more like, which made me a lot more independent than my siblings, because I grew up with like literally a kid raising me.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's really
Because by the time you're 5.
So I learned how to do a lot of things on my own early on.
Was it your mom and dad?
No, they
together.
were they were divorced when I was 5. Yeah, so it was just me and my mom
After 5 or
After 5, yeah. After 5, so a lot of it was just a lot of independence. Like, I had a lot of freedom to really do.
Yeah, just
But
do whatever you want.
She got lucky that I wasn't much of a kid to do a lot of
You weren't high
bad stuff. I wasn't. Yeah.
God forbid she had me, and she would have.
Yeah, she would have.
You were not travieso.
Yeah, she would have been done.
She didn't have to pull out the chancla.
No, nothing with me. She never had to.
Very easy.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Pull out that black
Did you ever get in
Reebok.
trouble?
I really never got in trouble. I never even got like spanked or really got in trouble for anything. I just
When did you start misbehaving? Like ever?
really never. I mean, the only times we ever had issues was, I think when I was like
When you bring
18.
those sluts over.
When I was like 18.
When Lindsay tells him to misbehave.
Whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa! When I was
Whoa,
like
whoa,
18.
whoa.
Bringing those sluts over.
Hey,
and just
Jorge.
having raw sex.
When I was like 18, I think is when we started to have a little bit more
I got a nice outfit for you in the closet, Jorge.
confrontation. Oh yeah.
That's what Lindsay says. Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh, I'm trying to see it.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I've seen those elephant thongs. And
It's a little role play.
The what?
And the trunk fills up. Let me tell you that, boys.
Ah.
So there was.
Excuse me?
So was there ever favoritism? I guess.
No,
No, right?
No, I don't think so.
Miko, be careful. You're gonna wake up the neighbors. You're good.
I was like, who are you talking to?
No, I just felt his foot slam. And by foot, I mean his giant cock,
Wake
which he
him
has
up.
out. So I guess that's
Anyway.
a good segment into the next question. Do you feel like you didn't have a proper childhood because you were forced to grow up sooner, being the oldest? And do you feel more responsible for doing so?
Whoa, I don't know.
Because I definitely feel like,
100%.
looking back at it, I wasn't necessarily forced to stop being a kid, but I was forced to, like, on occasion, put the kid shit aside and be like, because my brother unfortunately had like lung problems when he was born, so he had to have like an asthma mask, and it wasn't a big issue, but like, you know, you're kind of forced to like become responsible from a young age. And my sister broke her arm when she was like 2 years old, so like after that it was kind of like, all right, like make sure that if you're with your siblings, that comes first. So not necessarily like you didn't have a proper childhood, but you are kind of forced to like, all right, it's time to put shit aside and become the adult on supervision. Do you guys feel like you had that?
I was the latchkey kid. I don't know about you guys.
The last what?
A latchkey kid?
Oh, yes, I know.
Where like your parents feed you, but that's basically it.
Yeah, that's
Come in when the lights are turned.
Yeah.
The street lights are on.
Like my parents literally never checked on my homework or anything like that.
yeah. I feel like Juan. I feel
Yeah,
like
like that was literally that was.
I just it was really like that. Even like I would wake myself up for school at like in first grade.
Yeah.
I'd wake myself breakfast. I would take myself to school. Like my mom wouldn't even be awake at this time. I would leave for school and she'd still be sleeping.
No, I didn't have any of
I'd
that.
have to wake her up to drive me to school. But I completely took care of
Yeah.
myself for, majority of that stuff.
Yeah.
No, I was definitely woken up. And
I was working at like 12, 13 in a Mexican
Working?
store. Yeah.
You were working?
Yeah, I worked at a Mexican store because my mom was going to her fucking work. And she was like, oh, well, I don't want to pay a babysitter. I mean, I guess she could have brought me around, but like,
We'll make this asshole work.
she didn't make me, but like, at that age, you're like, oh, well, I want some money, but
What
like,
did you do?
she should have told me no, like, she should have been with the parent and been like, no, you're
Be a
not going to
kid.
work. You should be like studying or
Yeah.
literally anything
Read
else.
a fucking book.
Literally anything else. Yeah.
You
What
should
did
be
you do at
working.
the Mexican store?
I was a cashier.
You should be working as a cashier at 12 years old.
You should not be working.
You
As
should.
I probably messed up people's stuff.
You for sure did.
Yeah.
You sell them to I don't know if people know this, but like if you go to a Mexican store, if you spend enough money, they're like, hey, feel free to grab a large liter cola on the way out.
Yeah.
They do that?
Yeah.
Dude, sometimes I would handle the money that people would come into us
Sending
and be
to
like,
Mexico?
yeah, trying to send money to Mexico. Sometimes I'd handle that shit, and I like question myself right now. I'm like, dude, sometimes I would handle like, oh, can I send $5,000 here or there? It's like, how the fuck did they trust me to do that? Because they would pay me like $20 a week. Like I would essentially like pay myself in Starbucks coffee drinks that I would take from the fucking cooler, but I would make like very little to no money.
$20 a week.
Dude, you know, mom in Mexico is like, I'm not getting the money. Like, I'm not getting this. Did you know how you were sending the money?
Oh, I mean, you just pick up the little red phone and be like, hey, Quiero mandar México a Chihuahua or wherever you gotta send it to. Mi nombre es Juan
That's what that thing
Antonio
is?
Marquez de la
that's what that
Cruz.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the red phone is on?
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Support,
I never knew that.
Yeah, it's literally like
I'm
the
not
company sends it, and you
Yeah.
literally call a line, and then you just
You gotta give them like the information of the person that is sending money, the information that's picking it up, where to pick it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm
Damn,
not Mexican
bro.
enough.
No, you're not. You're definitely not.
They probably do that in El Salvador too, but
Yeah, but
that was
you're-
probably one generation ago.
Your Americanized ass doesn't understand. Would you have preferred to have been the younger sibling? 'Cause-
yeah.
Now, yeah.
I don't think I would have been. I don't think I would.
Yeah, actually, no, I don't know.
Because
I wish
okay,
I would've.
even if you,
They gotta deal with social media. And that shit is like poison, bro.
yeah, but it's also you making the decision to deal with social media.
Dude, social media is crack.
It is good crack.
It's literally fucking crack.
I
I
literally had to
understand that it's our decision, but like,
I literally deleted social media this week because I'm like, nah, not this week.
yeah.
I'll
Like,
delete it for weeks at a time. and
Not
I'm
this
like,
week, devil.
I'm like, nah, not this week.
so that's you. So right, that's you, an adult, almost 30-year-old male with all
Bro,
the will.
relax.
Yeah.
I'm saying almost all the
Damn.
willpower in the world, right? All the willpower in the world.
Almost 30.
I didn't mean that any
I
kind
got
of
a
way,
couple years ahead of me.
Luis
Dog.
is
I'm
older
not
than
even 27.
Bro.
Luis is older than us.
bro.
You're 27 this month.
Dog, y'all are
This month.
getting y'all are getting hung up on the wrong thing.
Hey,
all I'm
Luis is
saying,
old.
all I'm saying is you have all the willpower in the world.
He's gonna
And
pass
yet,
before us.
you still
I
struggle
hope so.
with
Wouldn't
like
it be funny if I went to
deleting
your
the
guys'
app and
funeral?
bringing it back.
Oh, that'd be
I'm gonna
funny.
give a good eulogy at your guys' funeral. I'm like, they thought that I was the old
What
man.
makes you think they'd give you the mic?
And here I am. Dude, I'm gonna take that money. What do you mean? I'll give a good eulogy at your guys' funeral. I'll be like, you know what? They were alright. I'm like, besides their coke addiction, besides the times I saw them cheating, all those times, they were good men. God bless, rest in peace.
Sounds like a wedding toast. Sounds like
I'm
Juan's
gonna
wedding
miss
toast.
them every day.
Jesus.
I'm gonna miss
Oh,
them
I'm
every day of my
kidding.
life. But all those times I saw them, doing those things that I told them they should have been doing.
Juan, who's your best man for your wedding?
It's you, baby. Why you asking?
Yeah,
Why you
Yeah.
worried about it?
Georgia.
Yeah, relax.
George.
All right, into the next question.
That's a mistake.
All right, I think this is where we start getting really
I'm not very
not a good
reliable. I would pick someone else if I were you.
I think this is.
How do I pronounce this word?
We should have a podcast on entirely on your wedding. I would love to do that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
When is it?
Don't
Oh.
worry about it.
Yeah. We'll worry about it when the time comes.
Yeah, exactly. The next question I want to ask is a little bit more personal.
You got a
but-
lot of questions.
Well, yeah, man. It's the sibling episode.
I like it.
Yeah. What is your ass doing? Playing with a fucking wine key? Put that shit down, bro.
No,
What are you doing?
it's good.
If someone asked your younger sibling what you're like, what do you hope they would say? What do you hope they would say?
Ooh.
He's not too bad.
Yeah.
All right.
He's
I like
not
that.
too
I
bad.
like that. I like that.
That's what I hope, right?
Someone's asking your younger brother, hey, what's Juan like? You hope they would say he's not too bad. What about your younger sister?
He's really annoying. Because then that's how I know
You
I'm
would
doing my
hope they would
job.
say that? No, what do you hope they would say?
Mm.
Well,
Let's be realistic.
I
I
don't
want-
know, because we do have. Okay, what do you hope they would say? Like, what do you want them to say?
I mean,
Your younger sister.
yeah, I mean, shit, that.
But I feel like what you want them to say is what they are. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be acting.
What would yeah?
You
but
wouldn't
like-
be acting different to them. You know what I mean?
No, I understand, but like then there's also the question of what they would really say. Because I think for my siblings, I would want them to say like, he's funny, he's lighthearted, he's handsome, he's such an awesome guy. He
Always looks
he's
so good.
Never late, always well dressed, and both of those have nothing to do with each other. But what they would really say. For me, is they would probably say like, yeah, he's probably off his rocker most of the time, and you can't take anything he says very seriously. Like that's what they would probably really say. Like,
So I
Probably
would
needs
say.
to see a psychiatrist.
yeah, probably needs a couple more years of therapy before he's let loose. What about George? What would you hope they say, and what would they really say?
I feel like I'd hope they say what I feel like they would say now. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we could, it's don't know. As they're growing up, it's been a little weirder, a little different. I
so
feel like what they'll say
someone
is
who doesn't know you, let's say, starts working with your two brothers, and they're like, "Oh, what's your older brother like?"
well, that's different to tell a stranger than to tell me.
No, a stranger.
So-
if someone asks your younger siblings, not a complete stranger, what do you think they would say?
So they're boys. They'll be like, "Oh, he's cool."
Yeah, is that what you hope they would say, or is that what they'd probably say?
I think both.
They'd be, "Oh, he's cool. He's
Yeah.
alright."
Yeah, I feel like that's all you're saying.
Kind of a nothing answer,
But that's what you're saying to a
But they're
stranger.
also
But if it was to
younger.
me, they're small.
No, not you.
But if they were saying it to like
a stranger,
yeah, but if they're saying it to like someone that knew him, like if they're saying it to you, then they'd be like, he's kind of.
yeah. So what about like
If it was to you, it'd be different. It'd be like, they'd probably be like, he
because
can.
I have spent time around specifically George's younger siblings without you,
Yeah,
and I do understand the way they see you. Honestly,
yeah,
and it is interesting because I'm like, oh, like that's how they see their actual like that's how they because I see you in a different way. I see Juan in a different way.
yeah,
But then like because I worked with your younger brother and I spent time with your youngest brother,
yeah,
like I do get the sense of like, oh, like you get to see like the dynamic of
It's different. It's different because like they were so much younger than me, so it was like they see me more as like I can be a jerk to them at times, but I'm saying it as a way to like.
From a caring.
But like a caring way of like parenting, because it's like I can't.
You're like a parental figure.
Yeah, even as they're older, it's hard for me to just let go and be like, not that they're not my equal. Like, of course they are, but I'm saying like as in a way of like, hey, like listen up. You know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
is how you should be doing this. You know what I mean? Like don't. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. So I feel like they'd be like, you know, he's cool, but he can be a jerk to me sometimes.
be a
But like
tough ass.
he can be tough. Yeah, it can be tough to them. But that's just.
'cause,
That's
yeah,
the type of age that they're at, you know what I mean? Like I'm so much older that it's like I got.
Right.
That's
'Cause
just how I feel like.
your mom is a hairdresser, and the time that she did do my hair, I was like at your house with your siblings and your mother, and your stepdad, alone for like 5 hours, and I got to ask him questions that I've always wondered about you, and they were answering them honestly.
Yeah.
And the fact that I was like, oh, this is how your family sees you.
Yeah.
And like each of them were answering just honestly. And I'm like, it's such a completely different. Because the way that I see, I mean, we've known each other for so long, but like as an older brother, the way they see you is completely different to what I thought they were going to see you as.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
yeah, they were nice about it, but they were definitely answering like a lot more honestly than I was expecting.
Yeah. No, and they should, you know what I mean? Like it's just our dynamic of how it is, and like at some point as they're getting older, like that was a couple years ago, but like now
This
as
was only last year.
yeah, like as they're getting older now, and like they're getting a little
Closer
they're
in
getting to the
age.
age to have their own ideas. It's getting a little bit more like where I let off a little bit and just trying to be their friend more and less of like a person that's like telling them
Yeah.
how to handle situations, what to do.
Because I guess that adds to the next question, which is, has there ever been added pressure as the oldest, and do you feel like you have to be a role model, and are you a role model? Because in my opinion, I did feel like there was added pressure, not necessarily from being an older sibling, but just like from being the oldest in my family. And I feel like I did have to be a role model, but I never was. Like I kind of just like, I did what I thought was supposed to be right, like go to college and get an office job and like make shit look like it's all together. But I don't think I was ever like a true role model to them.
Yeah.
Like maybe if there was more years in between us
Mm-hmm.
where I had time to like get my shit figured out sooner,
Right.
I would have had time to like fully like, all right, I'm going to college. Let me make sure that they know that like this is something that you can do, but it's maybe not necessarily for everybody. And yeah, it's a different dynamic.
Yeah.
So I guess
I feel like I don't feel the pressure, but I definitely feel like I'm,
are,
like a
do you
role
feel
model.
like you are a role model?
A role model to them, definitely. They look at what I do.
Because
and
inevitably, the
they-
first person they're gonna get compared to is you.
Yeah, and I feel like they hear that all the time. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
feel like they've had pressure from it too, of like hearing, not that I'm something great, because I'm definitely not. I've made a ton of mistakes.
No, you're kind of a piece of shit.
But
that's besides the point.
but like the things that like on the surface level stuff, I feel like I look good on paper at times, like because of like school was very easy to me.
yeah,
I was good at good at sports and
Right.
like that type of stuff. The surface level, so like the teachers that they talk to and be like
Oh,
that I was
you're-
close to,
yeah.
that they're like they get some of that pressure of like hey, like I worked hard for this, like you need to work hard for that, you know, like
Yeah.
you saw your brother what he did, like you need to start doing. So I feel like it was a lot of pressure for them at certain points,
Mhm.
but like I feel like it's, you know, for both of us, you know, definitely want to show them, you know, success.
Yeah.
I want to show them good things, so
Also
they don't have
don't-
to, they don't
yeah.
want to have to make mistakes that I've made.
Exactly.
But I don't feel pressure because of it for them. No.
You don't feel added pressure?
Mm-mm.
Never did.
No.
What about Juan?
I mean, I felt pressure, but like in a different way. Like I felt pressure because there was like a lot of expectations on you as like the only English speaker
Oh,
when
for
you're
sure.
growing up.
I can't
and-
imagine that.
Having
bro.
to translate bills.
Yeah, so like I felt
having to
That's a
make
lot.
phone calls.
yeah. So you would
It was
literally be like
fucking
5
awful.
or 6,
Yeah.
like handling insurance or who knows what,
Yeah.
housing, stuff like that. And you're quite literally 5 or 6. You don't know what a mortgage is. You don't know what these
Yeah.
vocabulary,
Having to try to
like
order,
legalese terms are.
yeah, having to try to order like pharmaceutical,
Yeah.
like subscriptions and.
So I mean, like, and like my parents were freaking 19 or 20 when they first got to the country, not speaking English. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I had like when I kind of felt that pressure.
It sucked. It.
What do they say to you guys? Why do we send you to school if you can't even?
Yeah. No, dude. It was literally
Yeah.
trying to translate bills, dude. Yeah. I think that just. It doesn't even come from being the oldest sibling. It just comes from being like the oldest sibling, like the oldest kid that your parents have. It fucking sucked. Like
Yeah.
there was a lot of times where I'm like, I was probably so like anxious because I constantly thought I was doing stuff wrong.
Yeah,
Because I
seriously.
just didn't know what I was doing
You have zero confidence in what you're doing or like when you're translating or
for a lot of the
Same.
time. Yeah, and they're like, well, what is the teacher saying? And like, thank God I had like Spanish speaking teachers that could tell my parents I was a piece of shit in class. Because if I had to translate to them, I would have been like, no, she says I'm good. She says I'm good in class. I turned in my homework all on time. I'm good.
she
Like,
says I'm a role model student.
yeah, thank God I was good in school for like good grades, but behavior was always the worst. But yeah, no,
I had some behavior issues.
did you?
Not many, but I remember. Oh, my mom's crazy though. There's a one story where she and you know in middle school where they make you take like a language.
Yeah.
So they make you take a language as a 7th, but there's no higher level ones. So I already know Spanish, and I had to go into a Spanish class. So what I did for like the first couple weeks is I just did the whole workbook while she was talking in class. So we would race to do stuff, and I already had it all done, like for the whole semester of just the book in Spanish. So the whole time I'd just be like messing around talking to people. I wouldn't even pay attention in class.
Yeah,
I just
like, I'm done with
messing
the
around.
workbook.
It got to a point where my Spanish teacher called my home, and she's like, "Hey, your son just keeps talking in my class. I can't get him to stop." So what my mom decided to do is I'm walking into Spanish class one day, and she's sitting right next to where my desk is.
Did you know she was there?
No idea.
Oh.
And I sat down. Didn't talk. No one talked the whole. Like nobody acknowledged that she was here. The teacher didn't acknowledge that my mom was there, but the kids all knew that was my mom. And I had to sit there with my mom the whole class
Did you
period.
say hi?
I don't remember. I probably said hi, but I had to sit next to her the whole class period with her in my classroom. And then
Oh,
yeah,
that
so
is next level.
yeah,
embarrassment.
so
Did your
like,
classmates remind you about it for years?
I don't know. I don't remember. That was a long
Dude, I
time.
would have tried to block out that memory.
But like, yeah, she said that after I was like, I don't even remember this, but like she said I was like crying because I was upset that
I
she
would
like
have
embarrassed me.
cried. I would have
Yeah.
been like, "This is the worst thing that someone's ever
What
done."
are
to me.
you doing
Yeah,
here?
so
This is my safe space.
Yeah,
where
so-
you're not allowed.
yeah, so
God damn.
she's crazy. If
All
you
right,
know her, she's
I haven't met her. No.
She's nice. She's
Yeah.
she's very nice.
Yeah.
Outspoken.
Very outspoken. I guess one of the final questions we go before we have our questions that our own siblings wanted to ask us. I actually reached out to all of our own siblings, and we're all gonna read each other's siblings' questions for the other person that the other person doesn't know. If you could go back in time and say something to your younger self as an older brother in context, what would it be? So we'll start with Jay.
Say it to my younger brothers.
Say it to yourself as an older brother. So you're going back and with being an older brother in context, what would you say to yourself?
And what
I guess to make it easier on you guys,
I
I can go first.
I would say just like, damn,
Because to myself, I would probably say, hey, put your bullshit aside and just be an older brother. Like, no more like, what about me? Like, put that aside and be just a good older brother. Like, don't worry about what's going on with you. Like, you'll be fine. Be a good older brother. Like, when your brother needs you, be there. When your sister needs you, be there. Put your shit aside. That's what I'd probably tell myself.
I would say is just be, I guess, not that it was mean, but be nicer in a way
Be
of like
nicer.
talking to them. Like
Yeah.
yeah, just be nicer in a way to speak to them in a nicer way.
Yeah.
Just because I mean, it's hard to discipline someone when you like.
Yeah.
It's you don't know how to discipline someone as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
you're
they
also
were.
a
I'm so
kid.
much older than them that it was like I had to discipline, but I didn't know the right way of doing that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
You're
it's
probably
just-
mimicking what happened to you, which maybe wasn't the right thing.
right.
Not,
So
yeah.
I guess just be easier on them. I say I probably
Be easier on them.
be easier on them.
What about Juan?
I mean, I would kind of say, like, along with George, I would say, like, take a nicer tone and, like,
Yeah.
be more. Yeah, just, like, change my tone. I don't want to, like, model, like, negative behaviors that I grew up with and,
Yeah.
like, end up repeating those behaviors myself, you know? Like, so I would say definitely take, like, a kinder, like, softer,
Approach.
nicer approach.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, for sure. What about if you could go back in time and say something to them, to each of your siblings, like as an older brother, like what would you say to them? Because for me, it'd probably be like, hey, just have patience. Because that older brother has got a lot of stuff to figure out that he doesn't necessarily know. So just have patience. Like, he loves you. He cares for you. It's going to be okay. He's going to be there for you. That's probably one thing that I try to do now as an adult is, like, I reach out to both my siblings, like, every week, just saying, hey, what's up? How are you? How's your week been? And just stuff like that.
Yeah, you try to be more involved now.
Right. So that's probably something I would definitely go back and tell my siblings is, like, hey, he does care. Just give him time. Like, he'll show you in a different way, but yeah, he does. What about Juan? I guess. What would you go back and tell your siblings?
I mean, I don't think I would talk about shit. Like, this is so weird because would I go back as myself in, like, with my knowledge that I know now?
Yeah, you would just go back and be like, hey, with your older sibling, like, you would essentially be
Yeah.
the third person.
I don't
Would you want to say anything?
I don't know that I would like talk about myself, but like to each sibling I would almost say, like, with my younger sister, I feel like she has like almost like self-esteem
Yeah.
things going on that like really shouldn't be there, and there's like no reason for them to be there because she's like a pretty good social animal. Like
Yeah.
everyone talks to her. Like, yeah, like so like I would just for her, I feel like I would broach that subject and tell her that she doesn't need to be as insecure as she really is. And then with my brother, I would broach a totally different subject, and I don't know. I feel like I would tell him to like diversify his interests, cause like I don't know. I feel like 10, 12, a lot of years of I don't know gaming and
Just straight gaming.
just straight gaming. I don't know. Like I feel I wish he developed a few other fun hobby like activities that
Right.
he could kind of once in a while dive into for relaxation's sake.
Yeah.
You know, like because he's a super smart guy and he knows other things that are useful. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that he's unskilled, unsmart, or anything like that. But I do wish that he would pick up another thing that he could dive into and kind of form as a part of his personality.
What about JMF May?
Man, I don't know. That's tough. I feel like all that I want to tell him, I could tell him now just because I'm so much older than
That
him.
it would
But,
still
like,
have the same impact.
Yeah, I feel like, but then I guess when they're little and what they're gonna, I'd just be like, stay tough. Maybe don't. I don't know, man. I feel like it'd be. I don't know.
Yeah, it could
I
be
feel.
tough.
Yeah, I'd probably
It's a
be
tough
like.
thing to-
I'd probably be like.
Because there's probably so
Don't-
much that you want to say, but also not
Yeah, like don't.
so much that you would completely influence how they live.
Yeah, like don't let the things coming up determine of how you continue to act. Like don't do as you see, do as you what you think is right, what you know is right.
Right.
Like yeah. For them it'd be like, yeah, definitely just don't do as you see. Just
Do what you think is the right thing to do.
yeah, like don't take your environment to heart. Like that's not how things are.
Yeah.
Like just stay tough. That's not how things should be.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a good point. Who's feeling brave enough to want to answer their siblings' question first?
All right, go first.
You want to go first?
Yeah.
All right. Jay is actually going to ask you
Yours
two
are-
questions. One from your sister and one from your brother.
Yours are like not even tough.
That sounds great.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Who asked him that? Was that his brother or sister?
That was your brother.
Okay.
Uriel.
Where do I see myself in 10 years?
Yeah, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And by the way, when your fiance asked him that question, she sent me the message back by saying, very him asked him, where does he see himself in 10 years?
That it was very like him.
Very of him to ask that question.
Yeah. I mean,
So he's
if
listening
things
to this
go
right now.
if
We will
things
send
go
this to
according to
him.
plan, like the way that I have like life visioned out right now.
Yeah, manifested.
Yeah, I mean, I would say in some fucking suburban type environment with like a kid and Alo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. Like,
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah, I don't
Oh.
know. I don't mean to like sound cliche or anything like that, but I could totally see myself doing that with either like one child or maybe two. But I'm thinking one,
Yeah.
maybe two. But and with Alo I would
Any dogs in the picture?
probably yeah.
Yeah.
We're dog friendly people, so I mean I would see myself in some sort of scenario like that.
Beautiful. That's really nice.
But
What about,
if things don't go according to plan, I plan to sell everything and make bracelets and wander the Caribbean oceans in Mexico.
all right, there we go. That's exciting.
So if y'all don't hear about me in like 5 years, I'm probably in Cancun selling bracelets like the
On
ones
the
I bought
beach.
from the hobo in the beach in Tulum. He literally told me that he sold everything and moved from Spain to Mexico to just build bracelets and just
And he's the
live his
happiest
life.
he's ever been.
yeah.
That's awesome. Bro.
He looked like Jesus
That's
too.
cool. That's
Yeah.
great.
What about his
love
sister? What his sister asked him was a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, your sister said, "What's the worst thing you've ever done?"
What the fuck?
When I read that, I'm like, wow.
Jesus.
That's a tough question from a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing you've ever done?
Worst thing that you've done.
You know what?
What?
Something that like eats at me that like makes me feel really guilty. Okay, when I was in 8th grade, I was playing basketball with like these 3 buddies, right? Or 2 buddies.
Yeah.
And they were really close friends with a kid that lived near the basketball court, and they wanted to go to his house to pick him up. And we were all close friends with him. Like we were on sports teams together and stuff like that. But they were much closer friends with him than I was. I was like,
Yeah.
you know, a little bit more on the surface. And he's not home. They walk right in. They go into his dad's room. Yeah, like they're quote unquote looking for him, but I mean, like obviously no one's fucking home. Like, so then yeah, I don't know how it happened, but they started like digging in through some drawers, and they took the dude's rent money. Yeah, and like this guy lived in a neighborhood where there was quote unquote a lot of Mexicans.
Yeah.
And the next week in school, he was like telling me in his homeroom, it's like, oh yeah, man, like somebody came in or like some Mexicans came in our house and like stole our rent money, this and that. And like, here I am, like just having to shut the fuck up because like those guys were like close friends, you know, quote unquote. And it's just, damn.
Did you get a piece of the money?
No, I didn't fucking.
You couldn't even have been late, but at least I bought this.
Nah, I truly didn't. Like,
Well, that
is
sucks.
So
yeah, I was just a fucking witness.
So you just carried all the guilt.
Yeah, I just carried all the guilt.
Benefit.
None of the
And at this
money.
point, I was like still Catholic as fuck. So there's that Catholic guilt. Like, I haven't even.
Oh no! Did you tell him?
No, I never told him.
You should.
Well,
we
now
should
he's gonna
text
hear
him.
this episode.
You should text him now.
Definitely do not. Text
I don't know.
him.
I don't know if
would
I can.
Never do that. Do not do that shit. Hey,
Oh,
listen.
and this same kid who had that happen. Now that I tell the second story, he's gonna. If he ever listens to this, he's gonna.
He's definitely.
He's gonna know right away. That was fucking me. But on this second story, I was hanging out with the kid who got the money stolen from him.
Yeah.
One of the kids who stole the money, and a different kid. Right, we were all football players. We're all like, well, two of us look average teenagers, and then the other two look like they hit their growth spurt pretty early.
Yeah.
I was more the average looking guy. The guys who hit their growth spurt were like feeling themselves, and they were like, nah, like where they were like alphaing out or something.
Yeah.
I don't understand. But like these dudes were just walking the streets like feeling themselves, right?
Yeah.
And they saw some little like Mexican kid who was like sagging his pants, and they started throwing up hand signs at him. They did that shit, and the dude's like, what the fuck, this and that?
Yeah.
And the dude's like, what, you guys wanna square up, this and that? And the two dudes is like, yeah, let's do it. Like, you bring another person, like, we'll do it right now. The dude fucking makes one phone call, and like 25 fucking Mexicans show up out of like 4 pickup trucks, dude.
With one phone call.
With one phone call. And we're like sitting
That's
in
an
a
efficient
parking
phone
lot
call.
where we were playing basketball, and we're all like 13.
That's an efficient phone call, though.
Yeah, yeah, that was an efficient. And this was like pre-social media too, so like props almost, you know.
No
Like,
Facebook group.
he had to go like
nothing,
one at a time. Oye, carnal, llámale a blah 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 blah.
Damn, bro.
But yeah, the homie and we were like the two more cautious ones. We're like,
Yeah.
dude, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like,
Yeah.
don't go over there. They're clearly gonna jump you. Like, there's a fucking half circle of like 20 men who are literally clearly gonna jump you. If you believe this is gonna be 2-on-2, you're an idiot. And they're like, no, we already like said we were gonna do it.
We discussed our
Yeah,
terms.
they're like, no, we're gonna do it. And they went out there, threw 1 punch, 2 punches, and then like they got fucking,
They got
you know,
slobber knockers.
yeah, the whole mob went after them, but
Did you sit back?
fuck no. Like the moment they started walking in that direction, we were like, we're bouncing, dog.
Yeah, we're
we're
outta
bounced. We're gone. Like, we're not gonna wait for them to beat your ass and chase us down.
We're outta here.
Yeah, we're out of here.
You can keep your basketball.
Yeah, you can keep your fucking pride, dog. Like, get the fuck out of here. So they got their asses beat. Like
As they should.
15 seconds of getting their asses beat, they stand up and book it. Props to them for being like some of the more fastest kids and like more athletic kids in our age range.
Yeah.
So they actually like got some distance, were able to get away, but they fucking got beaten, they got shaken up, and their face was not.
Oh no.
It wasn't brutal.
To answer the next question is actually a J mother effing May.
Bro, Salvador and Mexico are playing right now.
Fuck both those teams.
Whoa.
USA, Panama. That's all we're about.
Whoa.
All right. I'm just gonna ask you these 3 questions that your siblings had for you.
Mhm.
Just straight. Like, I'm gonna say all 3 of them to you.
Just say one, and so I can answer one.
Yeah, let's do one at a time.
Just do one at a time.
She literally sent me these in 1, 2, 3.
Okay, go ahead.
Question number 1.
Mhm.
Are you going to marry Lindsay? That's question number 1.
Damn, dog.
Question number 1. Are you going to marry Lindsay?
What kind of question is that?
Hey, that's what they wanted to
Yeah,
know,
These
dog.
questions.
How does anybody know that? How does you know what I mean? How does everybody know for sure? You know what I mean? Like, of course that'd
I
be
guess,
like,
is
of course,
it your intention?
Oh,
would
absolutely.
You say?
Of course, that'd be like the plan. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay.
But like,
I feel like that answers it.
but I feel like
answers
you
it,
just
yeah.
you just
Then it's your intention.
It's not
yeah. It's not like a bad yeah. It's
No.
not like
Not
that's
that you
the-
know the future.
No,
Right.
but that's of course that's
Yeah.
anybody's
You're
intention,
not
right?
a witch. Yeah.
I mean,
mean-
you don't stay for someone that long to not have that intention.
How long have you guys been dating now?
It's been 2 years.
God Damn, bro, that's a long time.
Damn, that long.
Luis, is that what? Luis, how many are you and Adrian at?
Dude, I'm only at 50 months. I don't know why you're making it a big deal.
Bro, he's at like 80 months.
We've been dating for
96 months.
Yeah, I'm at like 96.
That's like in that Grown Ups movie where they ask the kid that's breastfeeding how old he is.
Oh, no.
He's 48 months. Yeah, he's 4 years old. Yeah, Luis is 7 years old.
All right, question 2.
All right, question
When
2.
did you lose your virginity, and what's the story?
Damn, I'm so
Bro,
glad I didn't
what is
get your
this?
questions, dog.
What is this?
Literally,
Dude, you're savages.
Your
Yeah.
siblings do not fucking like you.
Jeez.
When did you lose your virginity? What's
Man,
the
I
story?
was like,
Bro, I feel like they made a powwow together. They were like, yo, get together. Like, we gotta plan this out.
Exactly.
I was like, these are probably like, they probably didn't even ask these.
Your mom literally replied by
Yeah.
saying,
My mother
"Hope
probably,
these help.
my-
These are from his brothers."
my mother probably asked these.
My mother's been wondering for so
Yeah,
long.
I mean,
All right, what's the story? And
When did my
And
baby
when?
become a man?
I was like, an age between,
You know the age. You
Inappropriate age.
at an
You
age
knew
where,
what the fuck is.
an age where I shouldn't have been.
The zodiac and the,
Um,
the sky was.
I was 14.
That is pretty young.
Yeah.
And what's the story?
What do you mean? What's the story?
Well, that's part of the question. It's
Like-
literally when did you lose your virginity, and what's the story?
It just happened.
All right, you were a child, so let's not go into
Yeah, I mean, I was
I feel like it's
when
probably-
I was a kid. I mean, it was like we were at their house. I was at their house, and it's just kind of something that happened. And it wasn't like it was something that gradually happened. So it wasn't something that happened like
yeah.
we started dating. And like no, there's obviously
Yeah, there's stuff
steps between. Yeah,
All right.
but like yeah, an age too young to
Definitely.
yeah. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right. This final question is really, when is he moving out the house?
Yeah. Man, I've already moved out the house. I left the house for
You've left the house what, like 3 times now?
no. I moved out when I was 18, and I left for about 4.5 years.
Yeah.
4.5 years. I didn't come back till COVID. So once COVID hit, like where I actually moved back home. That's about when it happened. So last year, I went back home just because it was COVID.
Yeah.
There was no reason for me to live anywhere else just because I'd be spending too much money.
Yeah.
And now I was supposed to go back to school for my DPT program.
Yeah.
And didn't want to do that. I was supposed to leave this summer. So I was supposed to go for my doctored physical therapy
Yeah.
to my program and didn't want to go. So the goal is hopefully by the beginning of this year to get back out towards Milwaukee. I mean, beginning of 2022, get back out to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So I came back home middle of like the summer of 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and then to now I've been back. It's been, man, I'm ready to go. Once you leave home for so long, it's just weird just to be back. Like it's just not your thing once you've been gone for so long. It's like
they definitely got.
it's like a demotion from work. It's like, geez.
Yeah.
Like I know in the beginning it was necessary, but now it's like to the point where I'm like, man,
This is.
this isn't.
Yeah, 'cause
I need to get back out of here.
I've been away for a year now, and I couldn't. And when I go to visit, I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Because you left for college and then you went back for like 3 years, 4 years to
I
home.
left for college for 6 months, came back for 2 years, then I spent like a couple weeks out at that one apartment. And then
I remember that.
I came back, and so now I've been gone for a year. And yeah, going back, dude. Even when I'm like on the phone with my parents, I'm like, this is awful.
Yeah, it's just not it because you're just too old for it. Because like, it's just like it's not the environment you can be around anymore.
Right.
Because like you don't want to be told what to do,
Yeah.
but then you feel like it's just a weird dynamic at that point. It's
they're
like,
looking at you like, are you gonna get the fuck out of here?
like, are you gonna? Yeah, it's like, what do you? It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
I remember when I first told my parents I was moving out, and they were like, "No, don't go." And then once it was like getting closer and closer, they're like, "Do you need help packing up? Like, can we speak? Like, how can we make this as easy on you as possible?"
I'll call your uncle. He has a
Yeah.
truck.
Hey, listen, don't worry about it. We'll get this shit
We'll pay
sorted
for
out like
first
2-3
ones,
days.
right?
Yeah, we'll take care of the U-Haul. Don't worry. Yeah, no, okay.
Yeah,
so that that just leaves. Who's got my siblings' question?
I got you.
You got me. I can't imagine that either of these are as tough as Georgia.
Dude, these are all easy as fuck. Yeah.
Especially for my sister, I can imagine.
What's your favorite childhood memory of you and Mariana?
Older than she probably thinks. There was a while when her and I really got close. Yeah, go ahead, man. You just don't need to the microphone. Don't like.
Sure?
When, yeah, this is actually a really funny story. One time I got hammered at my previous job, and my brother had moved out. Well, this is when he was, I think, living in Madison. Yeah, and I came home like drunk, and I was just like really in my feelings and like missing him because I'm like, damn, for obviously a lot of reasons. And I came home like just like drunk, and I was like crying when I walked in, and my sister was like awake watching like Netflix or something, and she was probably like a senior in high school. And I just like poured out like, I miss my brother so much, and then she started crying too, and she was like, I miss him so much too, and it sucks that he's away. That's probably one of my like, not like a good memory, but that's when her and I got really close when my brother moved out, because we were kind of forced to, like, we just cared and loved him so much that we just wanted him to do well, that her and I were like
talking about it a lot and bonding over it.
Always messaging him, making sure he's good. So I would go with that. That's a good memory of her and I. And we would constantly go get fast food together. I would just be like, hey, let's go get food. And she was like 18, and she's like, why wouldn't she?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Why would she say no?
Yeah, I would say that year that my brother moved out, it's probably just like her and I got really close.
Alright, now these are from Omar.
Okay.
Or I'm going to do 2.
Alright, go ahead.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And then, what is a book that's like, wow, this really inspired me, or I enjoyed it?
Oof. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I would say probably this podcast has 1 million subscribers.
What's up?
Like, for sure. Like, we're on all platforms, like
Damn
YouTube, all of it. So first and foremost,
fuck David Dobrik.
Yeah, fuck David
Fuck
Dobrik.
the Paul brothers.
Exactly.
Fuck Coke Industries.
Exactly.
He said first and foremost.
First and foremost. Oh no, just I'd probably be.
You're so right. First and foremost.
I guess by 5 years, I'd probably be married by that point. The way that time works.
Time's forcing you to get married.
Not even time, but just like, I just think it's like, at this point, it's like bizarre that we're not even, like, it's not,
It's not bizarre.
I want to own like a restaurant. Like, I want to own an entity, like have property, like something to call my own. And yeah, like have a doggo, whether it's like hers or mine. But we both have a dog that can't stay with us because we live in an apartment, so it's tough. So.
Bro, why didn't I get one of these questions? It sucks.
Bro, your brothers hate you.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'd say just continuing trajectory that we are on now, and with obviously my girlfriend and I, and continuing this because I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and just wanting to create our own business and going forward with that, and still the three of us being involved in each other's lives and continuing the success. And a book that really inspired me, man, I don't know, I read a lot.
Well, then that should be easy then.
That's why it's harder. Because if you read not a lot, it's like, whatever.
You just blurt out whatever you read last.
Yeah, you're like, this is awesome bullshit.
Green eggs and ham.
Green eggs and ham.
That's a pretty inspirational book.
1 fish, 2 fish, blue fish, red fish.
The Lorax is
I'm literally pulling
inspirational,
up
dog.
Audible just to see what I've been reading lately. Damn, bro.
Some good books out there.
Yeah, there's just... Honestly, the books that have really inspired me the most are like fucking comic books and graphic novels. Invincible is probably one of my favorite comics of all time that I'd recommend.
What's the
Who's the superhero?
style, or like?
Do you guys know that Amazon actually is on Prime making it as a cartoon?
Oh, okay. What kind of like style? What would you compare it to?
It's like
Give me like a template.
it's kind of like Superman, but
Okay.
It kind of has like the same idea of Superman, but just like takes it so much better. But yeah, I would go with like Invincible as a comic book and as a regular book. I think the one that really put things into perspective for me. I'm looking at my fucking list here, and The Art of War. Go read The Art of War by Sun Tzu. It's only like an hour long. You can kill it right away, but it is really interesting to think about like a Chinese military expert during the early ages of time, how he was manifesting everything.
Yeah.
And he was able to fucking conquer half the world. So The Art of War was actually really, and it's short, so that's what I recommend.
I watched a scary movie called Midsummer. Have you
Bro,
guys watched
oh my
it?
god, that's the
Midsommar?
most fucked up movie I've ever seen in my life. I saw it like 2 years ago.
Yes!
It is so messed up.
Oh
bro.
my god!
It made me like it's like it's not a scary movie. It's more like hard to watch.
Yeah,
and there was
uncomfortable.
There was a scene that made me so uncomfortable. I literally
The sex
like
scene?
I rented it and I turned it off at that moment. I couldn't even watch it, bro. I just like my mind was just so like.
Is it the sex scene where all the
sex
girls
scene,
are
it
like
was so
touching
messed up.
themselves and watching one girl get fucked?
Yeah, it is so messed up. Like it's not even okay, dude. Like
And then how the girl cast a love spell on the guy to
Yes.
like have him eat her.
yeah, It's just so messed up. Like if you want.
What is this movie about? I have not seen it.
It's,
Okay.
Nor
It's
do I
supposed to be
plan
like
on
a
watching
like
it.
it's like a what are they called? Like a
So the setting is it's a group of students, PhD students and college students,
Yeah.
all together in a little gang, and they have one friend who's from Sweden, and the dude like
That's bad news.
grew up with no parents, but he was raised in a commune by like 100 other people.
So
and
how
he-
is he in America?
Like he was a college student studying.
Oh, so he came from
Yeah.
but they all
You
do
can't-
like psychedelics when you get
Yeah,
there.
when the moment they get there, they arrive into a giant green valley and pasture in the middle of like mountains, snow-capped mountains all around them.
Yeah.
You see flowers and fields and these
Beautiful.
really idyllic scenes. It's beautiful. And so the group of Americans are chilling there and they're offered magic mushrooms and they take them.
Yeah.
So they're feeling great, they're feeling great. They're taking part in their group celebration. They're having every 90 years they have a festival to celebrate the what's it called? Midsummer cycle
Yeah.
and the summer solstice. That's what they called it. And they present it as like a pagan, almost like indigenous to Northern Europe type of group,
Yeah.
where they would have all these rituals and things like that. For example, the one that was pretty graphic, when they have the whole group, right? They're all participating in a group ritual, doing the dances, chants, things like that. Then they go to a cliff, and two oldest members of the group go onto the cliff and proceed to jump off in front of everybody. And two of the
killed themselves?
yeah, exactly. Two of the Americans are rightfully freaking out and like, oh, what the hell, this or that. I want to leave. So then they get escorted out, but you don't really find out what happens to them until later in the movie, and I'm not going to spoil it. But yeah, so there's all these little events that happen like that. They see on the wall that there's this picture of a woman cutting off her pubes and putting it in food, and then feeding it to somebody. Feeding it to somebody.
So disturbing.
I shit you not. She feeds it to somebody, and that person falls in love with them. So she did that later in the movie. And that's where that scene where I was describing happened. She did that to a guy,
Yeah.
and the guy, because he had taken magic mushrooms as well, again.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the mushrooms or the spell worked, but he ended up fucking her, and he met her in a barn on a bed full of flowers, and then she's just chilling there like, come on, give it to me, daddy. And like he goes on and does this thing, and there's like a half circle of like 8 to 10 women naked. These are like the elders of like, because she's having her coming of age, and so he's sitting there having sex with her, and as she's feeling herself and orgasming, the rest of the women orgasm with her, and they're all like chanting in unison, and they're all chanting. Oh, it's terrible.
It's weird.
Fucking terrible.
It's weird. It really.
Weird movie.
Yes.
You gotta watch it. It's a good scary movie.
Weird movie. You gotta watch.
It's a good scary movie.
Fucking movie.
Yeah.
You gotta watch it.
super disturbing.
Hey, spooky
It makes
season
you,
right
it makes
now.
you think the type of power that you have.
Like as a
That
person.
we have.
Yeah, like as a person, like these people, like the things you could just go off the rails and do something like that on your own if you really wanted to. Is what I'm saying. It's
Start
like,
a covenant
yeah,
in,
and it's
in the
just like
rural
it's
area.
disturbing that
I
like
know.
those ideas are even out there.
I know we
It's
just
the
started
way I
that.
thought about it.
I
Like
mean, why not?
the fact that it's just like you can literally do whatever you want. It's kind of
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, free will is pretty free will.
And then when you find other people that are living the same free will as you,
Like-minded.
oh man,
Yeah.
I can't.
Jesus. Well, there you go. There's the closing statement. Go watch
Watch Midsommar.
Midsommar. It's spelled like midsummer, but with an O instead of a U.
Beautiful. All right. And with that being said, thank you so much for joining us on another week of Bro Taste This. We'll see you next week. And enjoy. You know what? Enjoy some Campo Viejo Red Blend because that shit was fire.